high track speed. Love no limit. Watching me on Pornhub, Siberia, Paris transit. I like Kazakhstan, I like Maria and Juan. Do you like my pretty pussy? Direct Instagram. Oh, my friend, come to Russia for weekend. Oh, my friend, narcotic don't forget. Join me in Kamaz and race, LSD Sputnik to space. If you like romantic games, I'm sitting on your face.
You so sexy Russian girl, прыгай в мой фургон танцпол. Drink shot, fireball, drink it all. Dance all the night, guys, gangsta paradise. Absolute Hardbass, Russian потин КамАЗ. Russian потин КамАЗ. Russian потин КамАЗ.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is FancyEye17 and I'll be your YouTuber today. So, we're going to be talking about the Object 907. I was going to do a historical video on it, but I just did not feel like it because as it was only a test tank, it doesn't have a lot of tangible information about it. The real life pictures of it, the gun wasn't mounted, it was just the hole in the turret. Apparently the T-22 Medium also has a test bed project like that where it's just the hole. I didn't really look too much into it. There's not a lot of tangible information, so I don't really want to make it. Does that make sense? So we're just going to do another shitty review about it and throw a bunch of memes in here and hope the video gets views. You guys did respond well to my last video that I just posted last night, so I appreciate it. Time of recording, it is currently 6:16 a.m. on October 13th or whatever the fuck it is. So we're living the dream. We're playing the Object 907, and here's some key points about it. So currently, as it stands, there's several dozen iterations of Russian vehicles in the game. You also have the Chinese tech tree as the WZ-121. So you have a lot of like Russian tanks with this kind of round turret armor, high-speed playstyles. And what kind of sets this tank apart is simply that it just looks cool. It has a funky armor profile, kind of similar to the Object 140, but with a higher tall stance and a larger front plate with a more sloped angle. So it makes it very interesting to play. It has spaced armor on the sides, as you can see, so you have some leeway when it comes to getting HE'd, especially in this video you'll see. There's a lot of like pull and play when it comes to this tank as opposed to the WZ-121 and even the Object 140, because without that spaced armor on the sides there, you're so vulnerable to heavy TDs and other tank destroyers, as well as some tanks that just get around you. And you have very high mobility in this tank. You can wiggle around, but you know, this tank, it's a collector tank. It was crates. It's not all that as what it seems. So like I said, your first thing going for you is your funky armor profile. Some people aren't going to know how to shoot at it. I've never went against a 907, so I don't really know what the armor profile looks like to the average player. And at this point in the game, I thought, oh shit, I just took way too much damage. I thought I was gonna, and there you go, bam. If you were any other tank, you probably would have just died. That would have been so bad. And I don't know, it just has a really trolly armor profile. I think he hit me in between that small space between the armor there, and I think that's what caused it to ricochet like that. But normally you don't ricochet bash, because you know it's not meant to ricochet. It's a high explosive squashed head. What happens is the shell impacts the armor, and it almost acts like Semtex. It'll push into it, and then it'll explode. It'll like push mass through, because it's interesting. But if you guys want to get a breakdown of shell typings at some point, I can do that as well. I'm open to any ideas you give me. It is what it is. But your second part you have here is your mobility. You have this very similar mobility to your tech tree tanks. that are in the game already. So your T62A, your WZ121, your Object 140, you have this very good mobility that's comparable to a light tank. You're very fast, you have punchy guns, you have decent damage, very good DPM on all of these tanks. I think all of them have above 3K. You can do a lot of damage, and in this video I just wanted to showcase that. Obviously some of the damage in these games, these are very average because I'm an average player and I'm giving you an average review. If you were like Royal Fatness giving a review, I would bow down to you because that man is just very good at the game, and I appreciate his reviews on high tier tanks. And if you're looking for low tier tanks, you can probably watch some Bushka. And if you just want to watch me fail at being a YouTuber, you can watch me because I enjoy that. So your third thing you have going for you here, in my opinion, is just it just seems to be that it's an element of surprise. You can flank in this tank so well, but you also have this good turret that you can hold down against heavies, and it just seems like it's a very high risk, high reward tank. Obviously, since you only have 2k hit points, 2 good hits from an E100 and you're already done. You can get back to your garage in the first 30 seconds of the game or the last minute of the game. It tends to be one of those tanks with a unbelievably high survivability if you play it right. And that can be said for any tank though. But what makes me happy with this tank, despite me only playing it because I spent a lot of money and I didn't really want to not use it, unlike some of my other tanks in my garage, it's just the fact that it's unique to me. I don't have the T62 or the Object 140 yet because I haven't grinded that line. I'm still stuck on the T54. I think this tank just has a unique spot. To a lot of people, it's, what the fuck was I shooting at there? To a lot of people, this tank is just average. It's just another Russian. But to me, it just has this this risky reward that is just so enjoyable. You can get to enemies faster, you can get to areas better, and you can get yourself set up before some other players. Like on this heavy side, I decided, hey, I'm going to go heavy side because I want this hill. Okay, so I took a hold on position and I managed to hold my ground against the heavies. You can do that in tanks like this, and it's just it's enjoyable for me. And this video is going to be a little bit shorter. Apologies for that. I just see, when you get HE'd on the side like that, they do very minimal damage because it's spaced armor. But I think it's pretty important to point out tanks like this because, yeah, they may be average, but to some players, they're very good. They're very fun. They're like the bread and butter of Blitz, so to speak. It seems to be that's what all Russian tanks are. And you know, I don't enjoy a lot of the Russian tanks in this game, so it's very interesting to find and take a liking to a tank like this. Obviously, I don't think it deserves crates, and I was kind of okay taking that hit there. I don't think it deserves crates. I don't think a lot of the tanks coming out right now deserve crates. The only tank at tier 10 that I think needs crates is your Chieftain Mark III and your T22 medium, because every other tank, they are what they are. I mean, maybe the VK90 you could say, just because of how strong that can be in the right hands, but any tank just deserves better treatment. I think Wargaming, they're scared of new games coming out, so they're releasing all these tanks. I know as of today, the recording, the Centurion Mark V is in stores again. They're putting out all these tanks that everyone labels OP and game breaking, but here's a good stat comparison. I'm going to run through the stats here for you guys. Everyone thinks these tanks are game breaking. Tanks are only game breaking because people know how to play them. So if you put it in the hands of someone who just started, they're not going to understand how to play that tank. They're not going to understand how to hold down. They're not going to understand how to flank. They're not going to understand that, hey, the gold shell option exists. I forgot that thing, there was a thing for a while. I forgot to bring some. So then you had to rush around or just get deleted. And I think it's the same case with this tank. You put it in the hands of a noob, it'll perform poorly. You put it in the hands of a good person, it'll perform well. You put it in the hands of me, well, I'll make it work. And here's the Object 140 for you. And just looking at some of the statistics here and understanding that these tanks are pretty similar. They have different armor values on the turret, but it's the shape of the turret that matters. So, you know, you have a round, very round turret with 100 degree or 100 millimeters of armor. You look at the LT-45 or whatever, 432. That tank kind of fucking sucks, despite it having a very low profile. But yeah, stay cool, stay frosty, and I will see you in the next one, guys. Have a good day.